Okay, so here are some supplementary commands that you might want to check out. Like for example, for the closet, you see here a dash line. And for this particular dash line, it actually uses a AutoCAD ISO 2W100 line type. So how do you add line types? To add line types, you simply go to the layer. So we haven't talked about layer that much yet. Okay, so these are layers or different tracing paper, one on top of each other, where you can separate each of the drawing. Now, layers are very important. Like for example, if you want to place the grid lines on a particular layer, you can turn it on or off, right? Or you can freeze it. Oops, sorry, not that. Where's the grid here, right? You can turn it on or off or freeze it or lock it. So you're in control with the elements or the layers. Now, for example, the closet, right? So we don't have here a particular layer where that is actually placed. So we can select that and see it's actually in layer 0, right? Layer 0 is a default layer. So every new drawing will have a new layer. Okay, so for that particular layer, if we type LA, we'll get to the layer command. So this is where you're able to manipulate those layers. Instead of just turning them on or off, you can actually see here the line weight. So that dash line belongs to the 0 layer, but the 0 layer has a continuous line type. So that means that that particular layer or this particular line by default belongs to layer 0, but then the line type property was changed to AutoCAD ISO 02W100. Now, if you click on others here, you can log or load a particular line type. So if you need a particular line type, you simply click on the load tool or button, and you'll see here the different line types. Okay, now for metric drawings, and that's what we're doing, you want to load the AutoCAD ISO line types. For imperial or feet and inches, you will be loading the dash batting, this standard line types. Okay, so normally for metric, I use the AutoCAD ISO line types. In this particular case, AutoCAD ISO 02 was loaded. Okay, so I do have AutoCAD ISO 08 as well. That was loaded. But let's say I want to load this. Okay, AutoCAD ISO 03. Then I simply select that and click OK. And that is loaded. Okay, so two things you can do once you have loaded the line type. I can now create a line, okay, and the line has a continuous line property or line style, right? But I can change that here to AutoCAD ISO 03. And notice AutoCAD ISO 03, the distance between the lines or dashes are farther apart than the AutoCAD ISO 2. So that's how you use the line type. This line belongs to the layer 0, right? And we just change the line type to AutoCAD ISO 03. Now, another way of doing line types is to go back to the layer command. I simply made this auto hide, right? So click here to auto hide or keep it on the monitor or display area. So you can create a layer. So here's a layer right here, new layer. Alt N is the shortcut. And I'm just going to say this is the layer for, let's say, ISO 3, right? Now, for this one, I'm going to change this to, click the line, the line type, not line weight, the line type, change it from continuous to AutoCAD ISO 03. Now, you'll see that for this layer, ISO 3, the line type has been changed to AutoCAD ISO 03. And then I'm going to make it active by double clicking on it, right? You'll see the check mark right there. And you'll see that that's the layer right here. So you can make a layer active. So that's the layer you're drawing on. So layer 0 or ISO. So let's change it to ISO. And then I can create a line. And when I create a line, notice that that line takes on the property of the layer. So this layer, see it says here by layer. That means the line type, right, is ISO 3. Now for this one, see it belongs to layer 0, but the line type is not by layer. The line type is specifically changed to AutoCAD ISO 03. So you can have an element, right, a line belonging to a layer and has a different line type. Meaning to say, if I go to layer 0 and create a line, see the property of that layer, the line type is continuous. So I can change this specifically to become AutoCAD ISO 3. So it still belongs to layer 0, but then I change the line type. Normally, it's best to have a line type specific to a layer. But in this case, let's say this one here can all belong to a closet layer, right? So the closet layer would be continuous, but the line type for a specific line can be changed. And you do that by selecting the line type here. So instead of by layer, see, that's by layer. So it turned to continuous. It is now ISO 02. I can change that to ISO 03, right? I think ISO 02 looks better. Okay, so that's how you change the line type vis-a-vis the layer. So where does it belong? That will be in the layer. What particular line type does it uses? It can use the by layer or whatever property it has. So in this case, layer 0 is continuous. Right? If you draw something in the ISO 3 layer, it will take on the property of the line type, which is AutoCAD ISO 03. Okay, but of course I can also change that. So again, change this to AutoCAD ISO 3 or ISO 3. I can have a line, let's dash, because it belongs to that layer. But I can change this if I need to the continuous line type. So it still belongs to ISO 3, but then the line type has changed. Okay, so that's how we use line types.